Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast Love, Laughs and Life Lessons, and we're now in episode 2, and we thought it'd be funny to name our episode Relationship or Relationship. Yes. So today we'll be talking about kind of like the negative side of relationships. Yesterday we kind of talked about healthy relationships, love languages. Did I just say yesterday?
Yeah.
Last episode we talked about the basics of relationships, like love languages and all that stuff. But today we're just gonna talk about like
Relationship.
basically toxic relationships and like how to get out of one maybe. So yes, let's start.
Alright.
Okay, so what do you guys think exactly is a toxic relationship?
You go first.
Oh, it's so messy.
I'm struggling to open
I
this.
think toxic relationship is when you start. It's passion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, girl.
Toxic relationship is when like you no longer feel safe and secure and happy in your relationship anymore. I mean, I don't mean like you always have to feel happy in the relationship now. It's just like
continuously.
when you constantly feel like you being in the relationship is
You want
threatening
out.
to you.
Like you want out of that relationship.
Yeah.
And
Toxic relationship.
Yeah,
you stop.
that makes sense. To me, toxic relationship, any relationship becomes a toxic relationship once one party or like both parties start either becoming very manipulative or very abusive. To me lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think combination of both of what you guys said. It's like when you thought that relationship is gonna make you happy, but then you'll end up feeling like unhappy in that relationship because like maybe the way your partner is treating you, or maybe you feel like you don't really want to be with your partner anymore lah. But like you kind of, for some reason, you don't feel like you can easily leave the relationship. Yeah.
Because like in a relationship you're supposed to feel safe and secure with this person, right?
Like comfortable lah.
Then like when there's a time where you feel like you're not safe with this person, you're not comfortable with this person, then I think that is like kind of like a warning sign that is a toxic relationship. And it's best to like leave as soon as possible.
Yeah. But like obviously it's not easy to like leave because like you still love that person. Like the reason you're in a relationship is because like you want to be with that person, you have feelings for that person. So like you can't easily get rid of those feelings which just makes it like kind of difficult for you to leave the relationship.
Yeah. Like we will eventually talk about how to leave right later on.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess not everyone really knows what are the signs of a toxic relationship, especially if if the relationship becomes toxic after a while, right? So yeah, what do you guys think are some signs to look out for?
I think like what I mentioned, like we've mentioned earlier lah, like feeling unhappy in that relationship. And also like if you feel like you're being treated unfairly, like you feel like your partner is treating you like this way, like some way, either like they like neglect you or like they be aggressive to you. That moment when you feel like I don't deserve this, something like that, that's kind of like already a sign.
I think like bring back what you said about being manipulative and abusive, right? Of course, abusive is like the last stage of
That should be like the
that
last
should
straw.
be like that should be like your last straw, like the final stage of when you're like, okay, I have to leave. But like the early signs I think would be like manipulative,
Yeah.
you gaslighting your partner,
Yeah.
and like just even cheating also is not like the first stage. Like it starts with manipulating you, gaslighting you, lying to you, and then eventually cheating you and abusing and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think like the signs to look out for is just the behavior. Like if maybe initially they are like really consistent with what they are doing to show you love, the efforts and all is like really consistent, and eventually if it starts reducing a lot, then you should know that these are the signs. And I understand like people these days, they're all busy with work and like classes and whatnot, but then it's also important to like know to make time for your partner. And if your partner is not able to give that time to you, a lot of times, you know, like you find yourself like wanting to like constantly not being
like
able
you
to
don't
give
feel
you
like
your
you
time.
get the attention
And it's
lah.
like, then I think that's also like kind of like an early signs lah, like of a toxic relationship.
Because like you're not even married yet, and then he's already like ignoring you. Like wouldn't it be worse? Like wouldn't he still be the same after you guys married or something?
It will be worse actually once like they get married, because now it's just like the start of relationship. And it's already like that. So imagine if you get married, you're like more comfortable with this person, they of course would like slack off lah.
I think another sign would be like about the marriage thing also. Like if you see in something in your partner that you feel like, I don't want that in a husband. Like I don't want my husband like someone I'm going to be married to for the rest of my life. I don't want a husband to treat me like this. But your partner is doing that. And if you want to marry your partner, like do you actually think they'll change lah?
Yes, fit as a not as a husband, like if you plan to have kids, then as a father. Like would you want your kids to have this person as their father?
Like absent father.
Yeah. So like those early signs is like really important to indicate how your future with your partner is going to be lah. So your thoughts on like the signs to look out for?
This, I don't know if this is like common in all toxic relationships, but I think it's like something that's kind of overlooked. I think it's when your partner, your toxic partner, starts making you isolated in the sense of like, you know, like you're starting to be distant from your family, your friends. So the only person you can rely on is your partner. And since you know you heavily depend and rely on your partner because you're already isolated, you only have your partner as like your everything, right? And so it makes it a lot easier for them to be more toxic towards you. Manipulative.
Like they're controlling lah, you mean? That's kind of shitty. Like especially the type, like if your partner won't let you go out with your friends, right? Like
True.
I mean like it depends lah. Like I'm sure like I've heard of like many girlfriends kind of like they don't like it when their partners like go lepak, right, with their friends.
Some of them.
I kind of don't agree with that personally, unless like he keeps on doing that until he's like abandoning you. That like makes sense lah.
You feel neglected lah, that he's choosing his friends over you.
Like maybe you actually do want to make plans with him, but then tiba-tiba he's like, I want to go out with my friends.
Cancelling last minute.
That's when you can get pissed lah.
It actually shows that he or she is taking you for granted. Like, she'll always be fine, she's always understanding, so let me just use this as a reason to cancel on her or to cancel on him. To like go out with other people, you know, like last minute plans. I think that's also like a sign to look out for, taking people for granted.
But like if you don't let your partner see their friends for no reason at all, that's weird.
That's suspicious.
Strange.
I mean like it's up to you lah. Maybe you think that this, say like now for example, if I'm dating someone and his friends maybe is like really bad people, like, you know, going out and like cheating on, then I would feel uncomfortable lah.
Actually,
for him to. So it's like, it really depends on situation
it
actually.
depends on the guys, your partner's friends juga. Like if you don't like the vibes of your their friends, right? Because like most likely the person, a friend group, kind of like the same.
Almost like most friend group I would say, not all.
Most friend groups lah. Like if most of, for example, a friend group, like most of them are like, you know, the F boys and all that, right? Most likely.
Most likely. That's why it's called like cliques lah. You get along the same thing, right? And so I think that one I would be fine if the partner were to not like their partner to not go out with their friends lah. Like in that case, like for example, if my boyfriend's friend were cheating on like their partners or like going out clubs and like doing nonsense stuff, right?
And then he's fine with that.
And then he's fine with that, and he's also going out with people in that same situation. I wouldn't be comfortable with that lah, honestly speaking. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, I'm fine with that. No, I'm not. I'm really not.
Yeah, I mean, it is like, it's a sort of boundary lah kan.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
yeah, I mean, you need to establish clear boundaries if you really want the relationship to work.
Yeah.
Like, your partner still has to respect you.
True. I think like just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you can't have your own personal private life. Like even if you're in a relationship doesn't mean that your partner is your entire world 24/7. No.
Yeah.
I strongly believe that you also need your own personal time for you to grow as an individual.
Yeah, true.
Because you and your partner, touch wood lah, it's not gonna, sorry, it's not
I know.
100% guaranteed, you know, nothing is
Yeah.
guaranteed. So at least like if your partner were to leave you, touch wood, at least you have yourself. You are growing as a person as well,
Yeah.
not
You
just
can't be-
depending on your partner.
Yeah, you can't be too, what's it called, hyper independent.
Yeah.
Like too independent on your partner lah. Like
Hyper-dependent.
of course it's okay to love and be attached, right?
Yeah.
But like kind of take care of yourself also lah. In case like the worst case scenarios
Yeah.
happen lah.
Because you never know. You really never know.
True. Yeah, true.
Like imagine like your touch wood lah, like this person is like married
This one
and
episode
all
we
of
touch
that. Like imagine like this person is married and all, because I know like people, I've heard of stories of like usually women, right? They're married and then for example they're housewives and then they will have their own friend in the friend group, and once something happened to the husband or like the husband leaves or whatever, they get really depressed and like really bad consequences lah, because they don't have their own personal life.
Yeah.
So yeah, even if like you have your children and all, like your children is also gonna get married, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like boundaries of like your relationship and your personal life is like really important to like establish since the start.
Yeah. True. Very true. Also, just
I have nothing to say.
boundaries between you and your partner as well. Like say, like the dynamics between you guys. Like
Oh,
physically, like if one person doesn't want to be
touchy.
too touchy, too
Physical.
intimate, and the other person wants to, you have to respect the person who doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And also with like, there's the time also, like spending time, right? Like obviously you want to spend time with your partner. At least I don't know what's the nice time frame, once a week.
I think it depends lah on like their
Right?
schedules.
Like depending on your schedule, right? But you will want to spend time with them. But also you shouldn't spend all your time with them.
Yeah.
You need your own boundaries as well.
You need your own time with your friends, even like just by yourself with your family and all.
Yeah.
And you have anything to say? Before I say anything?
I mean like maybe if both are equally clingy, then
Then
yeah.
up to them lah kan. But then like it is definitely like if it's like one person wants another thing and the other person wants another thing, you have to like try to compromise and like find a mutual understanding to respect each other's boundaries.
Tying back to what you said about the physical intimacy boundary, right? I know this one person. She's like these two guy and girl, they like each other, and but then this girl is not okay with like physical intimacy, and she's scared to be in a relationship because what if the guy doesn't
respect that.
respect that, right? Yeah. So she avoids the whole relationship in general. So I think it's like, how would we tell this person lah, like I'm not okay with physical intimacy, and if at all we say pun, what if this person doesn't respect you?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, I understand that it's like it's definitely scary, right? To
Yeah.
like you know you're being very courageous to like tell someone all that because you're scared of it juga. But honestly, if the girl tells that to the guy dah, and the guy cannot respect that, then
That's your sign to leave already.
yeah,
lah.
that is your sign.
Because like if you're not comfortable with the physical intimacy and all that, like it would be known early on, right? Like mesti lah he would want to, they would
Yeah.
want to like kind of like touch you or stuff, right? And then like when you tell them like, oh, I'm not comfortable with that, like they should respect that already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If like
True.
that first time you tell them pun they're already like, hi, like let me just touch you here, there,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So then
That's
it's like,
already like, that's already a sign for you to run lah.
But I don't blame anyone in this situation
Yeah.
because
you never know.
it's preference lah.
Mm.
Some people don't like physical intimacy until they're married, and
Yeah.
some people they're okay with it.
Yeah.
And these people who are okay with it, maybe physical intimacy is like one of the main things in in a relationship for them.
Yeah.
So,
That's good.
Like
Yeah,
primary
correct,
love
right?
language.
So we cannot really force these two people to change their things,
Yeah.
like that their opinions or like their thoughts on relationships and how they
Yeah.
want to be. So like, how do we go about this?
How to navigate that, man?
Do we like just leave?
I mean, you don't necessarily have to leave. You can always talk
As
things
in like,
through.
as in like, is that a sign to like terus break up? You mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Communication is really important lah. Like,
True lah.
just talk things out lah. Like,
Yeah.
compromise with
Yeah,
each
I
other. Like, find a way or something.
Maybe like that person just doesn't understand your perspective on things,
Maybe,
and
yeah.
you just
Make
have
them
to like
understand
explain.
more why.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then they don't lah. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like what you said, it's a sign to leave already lah.
And if they're not, I think if they're not pushy about it, they don't like force you to be intimate with them, but rather they try to understand, then I think that's a good sign that he is trying, right?
Yeah.
But if it's the other way where he's like, he really doesn't understand, like he's like, oh no, I don't get it,
Like forcing.
yeah, like, yeah, I love you, why can't I touch you, all that,
Yeah,
right? Like
true.
if he keeps doing all those things, then I think that is like a sign to leave.
True.
Yeah.
So like,
oh sorry,
yeah.
just another thing, cause it's something that's kind of like a big thing now in like current modern day relationships, where you're not married yet, you're just boyfriend girlfriend, like dating each other, but then like the boyfriend pays for everything for the girl. Some guys don't like that, just like somehow some girls don't like it, right? I think that is definitely one boundary that you guys like in a relationship you have to discuss among each other.
Should be established since the start.
Yeah, because obviously, like, if financials are like already hard enough, you know, as like like a new adult, financials aren't that great, and
Pay for yourself is a lot.
Paying for yourself is a lot. Food itself is a lot.
Yeah. So like imagine you have to pay for like some whole other person, right?
Yeah.
When you're not even like, you know, really bound together.
yourself.
Yeah, you're not married yet. So yeah, it is a big burden. It's a big financial burden on them, and that is something definitely you should discuss among yourselves as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like part of like emotional abuse as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like psychological abuse, it can lead to that.
Yeah.
Because like financial burden in a relationship is the last thing that should happen actually. Because it can lead to like dissatisfied relationship or marriage, right? So I think it's like psychologically can really affect a person. And yeah, like what you said, we should like really talk about it.
Can kind of like lead to issues in the future lah. Like
Yeah.
the impact is like long term kind of. Like you'd have kind like trust issues in your
Yeah,
future
true.
relationships
Yeah.
with other people as well. So like
Sorry.
Blinking out.
Yeah. We're just very tired.
you're really tired.
So
Speaking of like psychological abuse and like emotional abuse, right?
emotional.
So like there's a lot of type of abuse when it comes to relationship, right? It
Yeah.
can be physical, it can be emotional, psychological, even sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Part of relationship, because not necessarily if you're in a relationship you are needed to have sex with this person.
Yeah.
It's not instant like what do you call it? Instant
Understanding.
consent.
Yeah, it's not like it's not instant consent. Like you still need to be okay with it lah, right? And so I think like the financial thing can lead to abuse. I think like the unmet needs of like no emotional intelligence in relationship can lead to this kind of psychological abuse also. And I don't think this is like spoken enough about, but I believe that emotional abuse and psychological abuse is equally has equally negative consequences as physical abuse,
Yeah.
right? Maybe
Yeah.
when say for example we go out and say like, oh, I've been abused, the first thing people come to your mind is the first thing that people have like the mental image, right, is physical abuse, a woman getting bruised by their male partners and
Yeah.
whatnot. But they don't think about the emotional abuse, they don't think about the psychological abuse,
Yeah.
even financial abuse as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what y'all think about that, like importance and like awareness?
I feel like you can actually argue that emotional and psychological abuse is much worse than physical abuse. Not like much, like kind of lah. Because like physical wounds heal over time, right? It's really easy. You put medication ke, you bandage it or whatever, and then it'll heal eventually, right? But how do you heal psychological wounds? How do you heal emotional wounds? You have to like do like coping strategies. You have to go to therapy and all that. You know, you might develop PTSD from your toxic relationship, from the abuse and all that. And it's not as easy as people think to heal from.
True.
Yeah.
It's a long-term consequence lah.
To be honest, not saying I don't agree with you, but like I don't think that physical abuse is less hurtful than less severe than both emotional and psychological abuse, because like physical, yes, you get hurt, like physically hurt, you get wounds, like you may even almost get killed by physical abuse. That's one thing, but like being physical abuse would also lead to emotional and psychological abuse.
True.
So like physical abuse would cover
all of that aspect.
That's why like I think physical abuse may be the worst of the worst lah.
Makes sense.
But it's not to undermine people who've been emotionally abused lah. That hurts even more. I mean like just as much.
Yeah.
It's not like comparing or what, but what I'm trying to say is like the first thing that comes to people's mind when we mention abuse is physical abuse. And so I think that it's important for us to talk about like the importance of understanding what emotional and psychological abuse is as well, because it's equally important. Because I think people undermine psychological and emotional abuse compared to physical abuse, while like what you said, people may actually get killed by physical abuse. At the same time, emotional and psychological abuse can also lead to death, such as suicide. Right? So it's equally, I don't know, I don't want to compare, but then there is negative consequences for all of these types of
nobody
abuse.
deserves any form of abuse.
Nobody
from their
deserves.
partner. I think emotional abuse can include like being manipulated, like for example when your partner, you called your partner out for like fucking up lah kan, like making the other party unhappy or something, and then they would kind of like in some way make themselves as a victim, and they would blame the person who pointed them out lah. And then there's also kind of like the silent treatment. That one would also can like cause psychological abuse, I guess.
It is a thing that we did learn about like in stonewalling. It is like one major disruptors of relationship basically, right? Because like if you guys are trying to work things out and then like one party just ignores everything, silent treatment, so like there's that wall between you guys already, right? And how are you supposed to overcome that because if you don't try to open up as well?
Because like silent treatment is already like giving the silent treatment already means that you're not gonna solve it, you're not gonna communicate anymore, you give up on, you don't want to put in the effort to like try
taking a break of the relationship. Like what is that going to solve? Like
a break.
I think psychological abuse or like emotional abuse actually can also lead to, because emotional abuse is how you feel, right? And psychological abuse is more of like how it leads to psychological issues lah kan, like anxiety, like depressive disorder, or like PTSD and all that. So emotional abuse and psychological abuse can both stem from harsh words as well. My thesis is I learned this word is hypercriticism. You constantly call your partner fat, ugly, slut, and all of that. It can come off as a joke to you, but when you constantly always,
You might just mean it.
yeah, you might just mean it, and even if you don't mean it, it may appear true to the other party, and that can actually lead to body esteem issues and like trust issues, comfort also.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah, self-sabotage, and like you would eventually have like really low self-esteem.
Yeah, like maybe people stay in a relation with their abusive partner because they're like self-sabotaging. They feel like somehow they feel like they deserve it. They deserve that kind of treatment because they don't feel enough. They don't feel like they're doing enough for themselves, for like people around them. So it's really bad for like their mental health lah.
I think that's connects to like why do people stay in the relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like why do y'all think people continue to stay in the relationship despite all of these red flags and all this abuse?
I feel like one of the biggest reasons is just like when you love someone, you love someone. Like
love is
even
blind, kind of
love is blind. Like like I said just now, like maybe the relationship start off like really good, and then it slowly became toxic over time, right? But then like you still remember the person your partner was back then, and so it also makes you hopeful. Like maybe he'll be that way again. Maybe he'll change.
They're hoping that the real person that they're dating right now is the person that they fell in love with in the first place.
Yeah, and so they stay. I think that's one big reason.
Because they know that the guy that I fell in love with is somewhere in there.
Yeah, true.
So yeah.
And I think it's really difficult for them because they tend to like cling on to the good memories they have. So every time something bad happens, they're like, oh, but then they did this.
Yeah.
Say like this guy, for example, like did really bad thing. He cheated on you, right? For example, and you're like, you think back, he cheated on me. Then you're like, oh, but then he, took me out on a really cute date last night. So you tend to like just go back to the memory, and that can also be really affecting you in the long term because you think that all of this is okay just because he did all of this.
Yeah.
When it's not. It's
because
not.
in reality, his true colours is the negative side lah.
Yeah.
Instead of the one you're clinging on. Yeah, cheating.
And like if you can do it once, right? If you can emotionally abuse once, he can like abuse you in many ways once, he can always do it again. It's a cycle. It's gonna always be a cycle, right?
Yeah.
Because like every time you get abused or like you get treated badly, when you get treated badly by your partner, you'd feel like, oh, this is probably the only time lah. Like, oh, it's just this once lah. And then they keep doing it lah. Like you said, it's a cycle. So and then like when you're further in the relationship, you would think like, oh, but we've been together for a year plus already.
Yeah,
and then
true.
like I've been really attached to them already. So like it's not easy to make the decision of leaving the relationship.
And I think it's difficult for the person who's still in love with the other party, more difficult for them to leave the partner because that partner is already like emotionally gone, most probably, right? And this person is still like clinging on to this love, to something that they call love, and so it's more difficult for this person to leave, and eventually would hurt this person more than the other party, right?
Yeah.
And I think another reason why people stay is it could be like childhood issues. I feel like it always comes back to childhood issues.
Everything actually.
Yeah, it's really important. So childhood issues and also like the attachment theory thing, right? So childhood issues in a way that, say for example, you grew up in a house where your dad or your mom always gave you the silent treatment.
Yeah.
And so where you would you're more prone to finding your partner who constantly would give you the silent treatment as well because it's familiar to you.
Yeah.
You think it's right to give the silent treatment because you grew up in that environment, that kind of environment, and something like that lah. And so the attachment theory is so like when you're really like anxiously attached to this person, then you tend to like, be that way lah. And when you're avoidant, that's when you give a silent treatment to this person. So and all of this anxious, avoidant and all, it comes from the childhood as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's very insightful of you.
Your fucking face.
I think one other reason, this isn't like dating relationships, I think this is for marriage. Usually married couples with children. usually if they're in an abusive relationship, toxic relationship, the one of them always decides to stay because of their children, for their children.
Sure.
How can the children grow up without a father, without a mother? They can.
They can.
They
They
rather
can.
grow up that way. I don't know lah. I'm not saying for anyone because I don't know what I'm going to say right now.
Okay.
But I may be wrong.
Mm.
But maybe I think it's better for them to grow up that way than to grow up in a house where the parents are constantly bickering,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
like unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if like it comes to the case of like physical abuse or something, right?
Yeah.
It's not nice. Like you would remember that forever lah.
Yeah,
If as a
yeah.
child, witnessing your father like hitting your mother, for example,
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, that's very
Yeah.
Right? When you think it's one thing, it could the situation could like escalate so much to the point that the parent like abuses the children as well.
Yeah,
Physically
true.
or like verbally or whatever.
And then the child will grow up in that environment and abuse their partners.
yeah. So
This is actually proven like children who grow up in abusive, like physically abusive environment, right? Their parents were abusive towards them or the either parent. They were more likely to actually abuse their romantic partners as well. So it's really important for parents to really be aware of this kind of things, I think.
yeah. Because like children learn through observation.
Yeah, the social link theory.
Yeah, social learning, modeling theory and all that,
Yeah.
right? Like that's why like people say like, oh, don't swear around babies.
Yeah,
all
because
that they're gonna mirror you.
Yeah, childhood is the most important developmental period.
Yeah.
It's very crucial actually because the first people they're exposed to is their family, right? And then they grow up, they meet their friends, and then
Ecosystem
microsystems.
What? You're on a roll.
What? Yeah,
Anyways.
so the Vygotsky thing, right? Anyways, yeah. So like the first person they interact with is their family, and then friends, and then like it
Yeah.
grows and all, right? So when the first circle itself is really toxic,
Yeah.
the chances of them finding a toxic people in the second cycle of life, which is the friends, is obviously going to be the same as the first one,
Yeah.
right? Because the first interaction is already bad. So unless they went or undergo therapy since young because the parents were aware of the whole situation going on at home, they will obviously find similar patterns in their friends and partners as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, what were we saying? Why do people stay?
Yeah.
Do you
Anything
agree
else?
with people like doesn't matter relationship or marriage, right? Would you ever understand people who've been cheated on, like coming back to their partner? I mean like forgiving their partner. Maybe not easily, but like they would go back to their partner.
I understand.
Would you understand that person? You would.
Cheating is a big no-no for me.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I think it depends on like we talked about childhood and all that, okay? Yeah, cheating was I can't say it's a big part of my childhood, but basically like yeah, things happen back then. So it doubled my values lah.
Yeah,
It's like
you kind of already
I-
witnessed firsthand like
Yeah.
what cheating does to your family and like the chaos it caused in your family
Yeah.
and how your family is right now. Like you witnessed that firsthand. So
yeah,
it's very understandable that you would feel like cheating
Cheating is
is
a no-no.
yeah,
like
big
you
no-no.
cheat on me once, like
yeah.
It's
I'm
over lah.
gone forever.
Forever.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you.
Don't talk about it.
I mean like
Okay, generally speaking,
yeah,
right?
to the extent you're comfortable lah.
If I were cheated on by my partner, previous partner, whatever,
Okay.
example, okay?
Okay. Like yeah, your boyfriend is cheated on you, and then like you broke up with them lah.
I broke up
Because-
with them,
yeah, and
but
then-
I knew deep in my heart that maybe this person was cheating. I just was in denial because I wanted to be with this person. I like what I said just now lah, I cling on to the good memories. So like even if I didn't have any evidence that this person was cheating, but I could there were signs lah. You know, there were early signs like this person was just moving away, and I just knew that it wasn't going to work. But then I was still there. I was still stuck because I didn't know how to leave. Number one, I was still in love. For example, right? Hypothetically, I was in love. I didn't know how to leave lah. And my friends, even if they told me to like leave, you know, what the hell are you doing? I couldn't. I just couldn't physically do it because it was difficult lah. It was like a long term, so like, you know, all the memories and stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I understand why people sometimes can't leave and why they go back to their partners. Denial lah is the main reason. You deny that your partner will actually do
It's
this.
like,
You
because
deny.
your partner does all the romantic things, all the things to you, and then you would feel like there's no way they do this to another girl.
Yeah. And even if they didn't, even if they weren't nice since the start, right? You already would have a mental image of this person, how you want this person, this ideal image of how you want this person to be, and so you stick on to that one. It's kind of like the Lulu lah, you know, like you're kind of like delusional thinking that, oh, this is actually the real person. They were never like that. It was just a mental ideal image you form of this person, and you are living in this world when it's nothing like that. So that's why people are constantly like in denial when they got cheated on, and they go back lah because they're like, oh, I don't think he's like that, because in my head he's not like that. So in real he's not like that as well. And so they keep going back, and if one day they choose to leave, which is good for them, then they will realize. Because now they're outside of that cycle, they're outside of that box, they're seeing as a third person, they're like, oh, I should have left earlier. Oh, I saw the signs. That kind of thing. So I think I really understand why do people go back to partners now. I won't say they're dumb. I mean, speaking everyday language, I would say like, oh my god, people who go back is like so dumb. But then like, honestly speaking, when you really think about it, when you put ourselves in that position, right, it's actually really painful lah to be in that person's position.
Being cheated on, like
imagine like you know this person is cheating on you, and yet you decide to stay. Like there's just not benefiting anyone. It's like destroying you lah. So self-awareness it's really important. But yeah, how anything else you want to say?
Oh, do you wanna explain anything about the cheating thingy? Like what about you? You did say you wouldn't. I mean, you agree with me saying no lah, but
actually now that you say
Just say it. We can always fight each other. I want to fight.
personally I wouldn't. If I were to, hopefully never ever, if I were to experience that, I would like, I wouldn't lah accept that and like live forever lah. But then if I were to understand other people who's been through that, I can try to understand like why lah, like everything you explained, that was what I think also lah. If I were to like think of other people being cheated on, like I can understand how difficult it is and why you would like go back to that person lah. But yeah, you also have to like really think of yourself lah instead of that person. Like do you want to live, like are you really sure that your partner would not cheat on you again?
Yeah, that's why. That's why like the trust issues develops, right? And
Because
it's a bad thing lah.
And
It really
then
affects you lah.
when you forgive your, maybe not easily forgive, when you eventually forgive your partner for cheating on them, they would be like, oh, okay lah, like oh, they've forgiven me already, so if I do it again, they might forgive me again. So like they might
But
do
some
it
people
again.
are really genuinely sorry for cheating. I am not justifying cheating here. I will never justify cheating. Disclaimer, I will never justify cheating. But for example, they are in like a 10-15 years relationship, haven't married by the way, and then one of them decides to like, not decides to cheat, like it just happened. It never happens by the way, you decide to cheat. It just happens lah, right? And this person really genuinely is sorry, and it never happened again. Would you accept that?
How would you know that would never happen again? I
Yeah.
mean, like,
you
it's
just
not
know.
easy
It's like you can see that he's genuinely sorry, and like
that would
just
like
know.
take really long lah
yeah.
to like earn that forgiveness or something.
yeah. Also, did she say they're not married? Damn.
Not married would be
And-
easier to run lah. actually.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, easy for me to say like I'll probably leave, but like to think about it if I'm like in a 10-15 years relationship lah.
It's
Yeah.
always like that when we hear about
Yeah.
other people's stories. Like, girl, what?
Yeah,
But then,
that's
like,
why. But then when it's like, do I really want to throw away this whole
Yeah.
relationship? It's really like a dilemma lah.
Yeah, because your feelings are really involved.
Yeah, it's
And
really
you don't,
involved.
of course, you don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a really, it brings like a really long term consequence lah. When like with the trust issues and like the anxiety
Yeah.
and all of that, like even if like your new partner is like really, you know, like really green flag, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still would have these trust issues. You still would overthink
Yeah,
every of his
definitely.
move, right? Yeah.
Right? It would affect your partner. Like, if you were to, like, your ex is abusive or cheater and all that, you would have trust issues, and then your next partner would have to deal with that issues, deal with your issues from that other person.
I think
Mm.
that the partner should be able to, I mean not should, it really depends, okay, but these issues should be addressed at the start of relationship, of the new relationship.
Yep.
Like you should tell them like, I have really bad overthinking, I have really severe like trust issues, like if you're not able to deal with it, then I don't think this is good for us.
Mm-hmm.
The other person is like, yeah, I can deal with it, then fine, proceed. Because I don't think it's fair for you to dump your past trauma on the new partner as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, while some people can accept that, I think some people can't lah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking about something else. We talked about like, you know, consequences of toxic relationships, PTSD, psychological trauma, emotional trauma and all that. There's also that physical aspect of it though. Like stress, insomnia.
True.
Losing sleep. I think you would definitely lose sleep.
And
over all
appetite.
this.
Appetite,
And appetite. And then, you know, like reduce motivation. How you gonna work
Energy,
and all that?
depressive mood lah, basically.
Yeah.
There are times where you just can't get out of bed. Like you, it genuinely hurts you that you can't get. Heartbreak syndrome. It's a real thing. People actually die from it.
Oh yeah, isn't it like
Very
when, like,
rare
you're
lah,
when you're like long married, right? Or like long term partners, your partner dies and then you like heartbroken, you die also.
Yeah,
Isn't
because I've heard like personal stories. Someone in the family passed away, and another person in this family got the heartbroken syndrome and passed away the next week or next month.
Damn.
So it's actually a
God.
serious thing lah. Like
Yeah.
you can
Because you
get
actually
so
feel it in your heart, you
yeah.
know? Like, pain.
Yeah, you can genuinely feel your heart hurting so
Yeah.
much that you die from it. Like
It's
imagine
actually
that
a heart
lah.
attack, I think. I think lah, heartbreak
I
syndrome.
think it's different because heart attack is because of like block. No?
I don't know.
I think it's
Heartache,
heart
something
attack
like that
because
lah.
of heart block.
Yeah, it is something like you. I think people. I've seen about the heartbreak syndrome also. Like when the autopsies of people who died from it, right? There is like scar
Bukan, yeah.
tissues on like the heart. So,
Because
yeah.
it's like really strained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually like mind blowing
Yeah.
how the body works, like how it really
Or
pairs
your
up with the
emotion
mind.
can connect with your physical
Yeah,
body
true.
organs.
And I think that really shows how like humans are really social creatures.
Yeah.
Like that
Really.
connection with other people is that important to
Yeah,
you.
it's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like trust issues, this all of this, like why is that really important and necessary to like address? But if it's really severe, then leave before it leads to these
Yeah.
issues, you know. Like don't wait till the really last moment that something were to happen to you and then you leave, because the consequence will be more
Long term.
True.
long term consequence. It'll be like a more difficult thing for you to get over with
Yeah.
and to move on.
But I feel like people usually don't leave when they just see the signs like it's not that bad yet, because they, you know, they're in denial, right? They keep telling themselves like, oh, maybe it's just like this today or whatever. I think when it's like really severe, that's only when they realize and try to leave the relationship.
But then they get scared.
Yeah, they
Especially when
usually
aggression is involved.
yeah.
They might come back and like revenge you, like all of that, right?
Yeah, I think like abusive, like physically abusive apa tu, relationship is also hard to leave, mostly because you're scared that something might happen to you lah. Because like in Malaysia or like worldwide, there are many cases of like, you know, femicide, men killing like like exes killing their exes ke.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like yeah.
that's actually scary. Like
Husband
how
killing wife. So many.
much they would go to like revenge this person. Like, is it
Yeah.
really that necessary?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stupidity.
Yeah, like scary lah being a woman in an abusive relationship.
Mm.
Because like if you don't die in this relationship, you might die. Like there's a chance for you to get get killed or something,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Even after you break it off, like you never know the extent of your partner's aggression.
Mm.
And
True.
yeah, so which that makes me think like people who are in these kind of severe toxic relationships, right? There's really no other better option to like properly leave other than like legal actions. You know, like police or like restraining orders,
Restraining order.
like court. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like then but you know, if you want to do a restraining order, actually I don't know if you need it, or like if you want to go to court about it, you need evidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like definitely I think if you are already within that toxic relationship and you want to leave, right, you if there is any evidence of the toxicity happening towards you, the abusiveness happening towards you, you should document and safeguard these evidences. So like maybe if like you're physically hurt, then take pictures of yourself. If like it's verbal, like verbal abuse, right, maybe like through text, right, so you can like simpan the screenshots, or I don't know, voice record when they get like really aggressive and loud and all that. Yeah.
Also, there's also the fear of like revenge porn,
Oh.
where they would like leak. Like maybe when you guys were together, you've gotten like intimate, and like you record stuff. I feel like that's actually common. Like I don't know, people recording. I don't know.
No lah, I
But
don't know.
yeah. Yeah, there's also fear of that happening lah with like breaking up with your partner. Like you don't know like they're going to leak your videos, your nudes.
Because you never really know a person entirely 100%, right?
Yeah.
So better to be really cautious lah.
Yeah.
Your actions. But yeah, you said about the restraining order kan?
Yeah.
So that works for physical abuse. Does it work for emotional and psychological abuse as
I
well?
think that's why I think like the evidence is really like important. Like cause like
Text.
yeah, text, voice notes or whatever. But then like right, it's hard, right? Like if it's just emotional or psychological,
Yeah,
then
they
how do
would-
you really
Yeah, they
show?
wouldn't really I don't know, I really don't know about this. I'm just saying like out of what I think. But in my opinion, I think people, they don't take this kind of things seriously, like this kind of emotional and psychological and verbal abuse as seriously compared to physical abuse.
Yeah.
And I think that's not fair.
Honestly, that does make sense in a way that like
Yeah,
you're
because-
kind of safe, like safe physically. So that's why people like don't really, not that they don't care, but like they feel like physical abuse is the more serious lah, to be taken care of legally.
Is in a way,
Yeah.
it is in a way lah, because it can obviously kill you, right? But it's, how do we like get ourselves out of the situation
Yeah.
if it's like this kind of abuse that we don't really have proof for? Like for physical abuse, I can show a bruise on my hand, I can record a video of him hitting me,
Yeah.
that kind of things, right? How do we leave, or like how do we know when to leave when it's emotional and psychological abuse? How do we know the limit? Because with physical, you're like, okay, I'm gonna die, I better leave, right?
Yeah.
So how do we go about for the other types of abuse?
The easiest solution is just to leave lah. Like literally, like just leave, end the relationship, and like I mean like when you already feel that you're getting hurt constantly by your partner, like emotionally, like you would want to get away from that. You don't want to experience that forever, you know.
Yeah.
Like you want to be happy. You don't want to hate your partner. So at that point, I think it makes the most sense to leave lah.
True.
Like some people find it really difficult to leave despite knowing that it's no longer a happy, secure, good relationship, right?
Yeah.
they still
like,
find it difficult to leave
even
because
if it's destroying them.
yeah, because of like the emotional attachment they have towards this person. It can be just like 2-3 months, it can be 10-20 years.
Yeah.
If you're attached to a person, it is gonna be difficult to leave this person. So I think you just have to like sit back and like just be by yourself and like think about how much you want to put yourself through. Forget about the other person lah, because anyone can abuse you, literally at this point, right?
Yeah.
So are you going to let this person do that to you? Right? Are you going to put yourself in that situation again and again and again and feel this thing again and again, and then eventually put your child also at that situation, right? Because if you are experiencing that, your child is also watching you experience that,
Yeah.
and that will affect your child as well. So I think we have to like really be people who victims and all that. They should be really aware of what they're going through and like really think of putting themselves first before anything else, and leave. Literally just leave.
Yeah.
The consequences of it can be dealt later on,
Yeah.
but the first step and a really courageous important step is to leave first.
Memang it's hard to leave, especially when you are already like way deep in the relationship already, like way long, like 10 years lah. So long. But then like once you do the courageous step to like break it, to end it, you will look back and be like, that's a lot of years wasted. The longer you stay in that relationship, the more regretful you will feel in the future when you finally break things off.
And the consequence will be more lah, because there's more days spent, there's more abuse experience, right?
Yeah.
So the consequence is also like higher.
And I also think this applies to both like leaving the relationship and overcoming it after you've left. Is definitely you need your support group, either your family members or your friends, or whoever is there with you, your therapist or whatever.
New partner.
A new partner. They, in the process of like leaving, like they should, like you should already inform them about like, oh, your partner is this way, blah 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 blah. If anything happens to me, please, what it is. Yeah, and you just be there with your family as well, so they can keep you safe, family or friends or whatever. And overcoming it, like we touched about it, humans are social creatures, you need connection, right? That connection actually helps you to heal as well. Like, spending time with your loved ones, you talk it out with them, and then honestly just ranting things, just talking things out also relieves your burden as well. So yeah, I think that is really important.
Yeah, just like find coping strategies and like really learn how to love yourself back again, because it's really important for your future lah, as an individual, right?
Yeah.
And always like reach out to people for help. It can be your friends, family, like what you said. It can also be like professional help as well,
Yeah.
because these abuses, sometimes friends and family, they can't really navigate through how to help you.
Yeah.
So like professional help is also very important, and there's no shame in getting those help.
Not at all.
There's no shame in getting those help. It's just helping yourself. And if someone really uneducated were to come to you and like, you're going to therapy, like F them lah. You are helping yourself, like okay lah, you don't need therapy. And like just get help. And because these abuses are not small thing, it would have cost you a lot of your mental health, right? And it's really important to like seek professional help when you have to. If you don't even have a reason to seek help, right, just seek help lah.
Yeah.
Just go to a counselor and talk about whatever it
I
is.
feel like you're bottling up some feelings.
Yeah.
You have no one to talk to, and you don't want other people to not side you, to be like against you. Professional help lah, therapist.
You don't need a reason to seek help lah, actually, right?
Yeah. Even if you just want to like better yourself, you can go.
It's not always about what is wrong. It can be like what is right. Positive psychology, right?
Yeah.
It's like not always what's wrong. You can always just look at the brighter side of life and like, oh, I want to improve on this part of my life.
Yeah.
How do I get better in this aspect of my life? That kind of thing. So it's like really just personal development at this point.
Yeah. Oh, And I think that kind of adds on to like when you're like in the process of healing after that bad relationship. It's okay to relapse. Don't think
Yeah.
if you relapse, don't think that you're not making any progress. I think you are. You are slowly healing yourself. But
You just
sometimes
need a moment.
yeah, you just need a moment. Sometimes it just happens, maybe something triggered you
Yeah.
when you relapse for a while. But just, stay strong, stay confident in yourself. It's just for that small moment, je. But you're still healing.
Healing takes a lot of time.
Takes a lot of time. If you could do it the first time, you can most definitely do it the second time. Speaking of relapse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the reason you relapse is probably something triggering you or like an obstacle that you faced that brought you back to your past, right? I know why you're laughing. But yeah, if like you were able to do it the first stage before you relapse, then you're more stronger to actually face
Yeah.
the second stage of it,
Yeah.
and you will eventually get better.
Relapses is just a bump lah.
Yeah, it's like a
If
when you go and
assume
then
that
like a
it is,
bump.
yeah. But if you think that you relapse is you losing and then you want to like suffer, not suffer. You want to like
Internalize it.
yeah, something like that lah.
Okay.
I'm lost of words already. What was I even saying?
Bump.
Yeah.
Relapse is like a bump.
You can't assume that you like completely lost it already. Like
yeah.
you went downhill and you can't improve yourself anymore, and then
Yeah.
you stay in that condition because you believe that like self-sabotage lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unhealthy.
It's a
for you.
spectrum lah. If like you can go here, you can also from here go back here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like important to know it's a spectrum. If you can go back here to here, then you can go here to here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we all lost for words now. You can
It's
Anyways,
9
yeah.
9 p.m.
9:30.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we hope this was an insightful and meaningful conversation, I say.
Yeah, we
for you
apologize for our like wrongcomings and like if we
Yeah.
said some stuff that are like that may be offensive or cancelable. Like we don't mean it.
Because it is a really sensitive topic lah.
Yeah, we probably don't mean it,
Yeah.
and like we just don't know. We're not media trained, so like
Yeah.
we don't know if we accidentally said some stuff that might trigger you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like she said, it's a heavy topic, so it's kind of hard for us to like tread lightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we just want to like talk about it and really create awareness, I guess.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we spoke about like what toxic relationship is and like the signs, the boundaries that you should set with your partner, and different types of abuse, how to know when to leave, and also how to overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
How to know if you're in one a toxic relationship. And
And I think that is it, right? For our
that's
topic
all.
episode
Yeah.
today.
So this is the end of episode 2, and we're gonna have our last episode next Sunday. It'll be posted next Sunday, and yeah, that's gonna be the last episode. And we
Thank you guys for
Yeah.
all the supports and comments from episode 1.
Yeah, thank you for the
Very
views.
cute.
Thank you for
Yeah.
staying. Yeah,
Yeah, that's all from 3 of us.
yeah. Thank
thank
you for
you.
making it this far.
Yeah.
If you skipped to
You
this
skip.
part, also it's fine.
Proud of you. I'm proud of you. Either
Really?
way. Clicking on this
Really?
video is I'm proud
Yeah.
of you.
So again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And
Bye.
See you for on episode 3.